Shalom. I want to start off by saying Kal Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth and who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the Akim that is spread around the four corners of the earth, spreading this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Quatazab Sayan, coming back through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai with another lesson, with another video, and Lord willing, this video is edifying. Gone. So I'm back with another prophecy of the day, and in this prophecy I want to go into the book of Revelation 7 verse 16 and 17, and it reads, Revelation 7 verse 16, they shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. Verse 17, for the Lamb which is in the midst of them, for the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them unto living waters, living fountains of waters, and Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. Gone. So, breaking down the first verse 16, they shall hunger no more. And let's go to the precept. So the precept is going to explain it. They shall hunger no more. This is Isaiah 55 verse 1. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come buy wine and milk without money and without price. Gone. So this hunger that the people have, that represents the hunger for the truth, the hunger to know who they are, because the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, they don't know their heritage. So we were hungry for knowledge. We were hungry to know who we were, because that this truth represents food, It's the same as food, because you consume the knowledge. You consume this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. So this truth is likened unto food. And to prove that, let's go to Revelation 10, verse 10. And I looked the little book, and I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. So how are you going to eat a book? Because you're going to consume what's written in it. You're going to consume the wisdom and knowledge. So, and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey, because when you come to the understanding and knowledge that you're an Israelite and that you are the most blessed nation upon the earth, that the Most High is dealing with you, which the Most High's name is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai. And when you come to that understanding that the Most High deals with you, then it's sweet, because then you understand that Yahushai, who everybody ignorantly calls Jesus, is going to come to bring salvation for his people, which is the Israelites, which is the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And we're going to inherit the kingdom forevermore, and that's a kingdom that is not going to fall. You see, so all these things are sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. So when the truth settles down within you, when you come to the realization and understanding that, okay, so now I got to put in work. Now I got to patiently wait, because that word patience goes into long suffering, which means to suffer, which means to, wait, because while you're waiting, you're suffering. But then through the waiting and the suffering, you become harder. You become a soldier. You endure these hard times, these hardships that are come upon you, because you understand that the kingdom of heaven doesn't come by observation. You got to put in work. You got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You got to do the work diligently. You got to try to bring the sheep into the sheepfold, waiting for the chief shepherd, which is Yahushai. But this is not easy, man, because as soon as you know it, you know, man, you start running the race. You start rejoicing. But as soon as this thing settles down, then you're like, okay. Then the bitterness hits in of the truth. You see. So this, you can see that the book, which is writings, which is the Bible, that's to be consumed and to be eaten up. That's why it's likened unto food, this truth. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra. Second Ezra 8, verse 4. So answered I and said, swallow then down, O my soul, understanding, and devour wisdom. You see? So this is what the prophet Ezra said when he consumed this wisdom, when he devoured this wisdom, because that's just what they say. They say that knowledge is power, right? So this knowledge, when you consume it, you get nourished from within, because you start living a better life. You know, it's cleansing you. That's why it's likened unto food, and it's also likened unto water, because it cleanses you. Let's go back to Revelation 7. Gone. So it says, Revelation 7, verse 16, they shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more. Neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. Why? Because the sun, that's likened unto wisdom. How? Let me explain this. When you don't understand a certain phrase, or you don't understand what somebody means, then the person often could say, like, let me shed some light on the situation. When you are consuming wisdom, then you are being enlightened. You see? And our forefathers often spake with those kind of analogies. You know, the Bible is written in code. Not everybody can crack the code, you know. But our people, even to this day, you see that we come up with certain words, like it says one thing, but it actually means something else. You know, like that car is dope. Dope is a drug, is a substance. So how is a car a substance that you can sniff up or shoot? No, man. Our people, we always used to take certain words and give it another meaning. But this is still what you can find in the dictionary. If you look for that word enlightened, it means, let's just prove all things, as the scripture says. Enlightened, late 1400th century, to remove the dimness or blindness, usually figuratively, for one's eyes or heart. See enlighten from 1660s as supply with intellectual light. You see, intellectual light means understanding. Literal senses are later and less common in English. Put light in is from 1580s, shed light upon. You see, is from 1616, 1610, related, enlightened, enlightening. Old English had enlighten, to illuminate, enlighten. You see, to illuminate. That's why they call these people the modern day Chaldeans, which is the 1%, which is all these banking families. You know, the Bilderberg Rothschilds, people like that. They, the so like, yeah, what was it? Gettys or something. So like, yeah, if I don't get that name right, but these people are called the illuminated ones, the Illuminati, because they think that they're dealing with the left hand side of the Most High. You know, they're dealing with demons and with you know, prognosticators and things of that sort. You know, so they are dealing with those kind of spirits. So they find themselves to be enlightened, that they have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from the left hand side. So that's why they are called the Illuminati, because they know things. But this is the ultimate wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. This is wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the Most High. He has the infinite wisdom and knowledge. You know, he gives the left hand side their power and their knowledge and the 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 the, the power to do what they can do. That comes from the Most High also. You understand? So now, knowing that the sun and light represents knowledge, let's go to the scriptures. Let's go to, let's see, Isaiah. Isaiah 60, verse 19. And 20. This is Isaiah 60, verse 19. The sun shall know, so like, yeah, the sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But the Lord Yahweh shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy power, thy glory. Thy sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself. For the Lord Yahweh shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. You see? So what this represents is that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to give us the wisdom, knowledge, understanding. He's going to enlighten us. We're not going to get light from the sun, you know. We're going to get the infinite. We're going to be tapped into the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's what this scripture means. That the sun shall no more be thy light by day, nor the moon thy light by night, but the Most High is going to be thy light. You see? So we are going to walk in righteousness. We're not going to walk in wickedness anymore, like we were doing before we came into the truth. Like how now we sometimes go off unwillingly, unknowingly. You see? So let's go to the next scripture, which is in 1 Peter's 2, verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, which the word holy means sanctified, set apart, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who had called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. You see the contrast when you come out of darkness, when you are not enlightened, if you don't have the truth, if you don't have these laws, statutes, and commandments, if you don't have this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, you are in darkness. But because Yahweh Bashem Yahushai pulled us out of the darkness, now we walk in his marvelous light. We have his enlightenment. We know how he works through the scriptures, through the truth. You see? I have to show you that the contrary of his marvelous light is darkness. Let's go to this scripture, Ephesians 4, verse 17. This I say, therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, meaning these other nations, we once were in a Gentile state of mind because we live in these different countries, and then we take up these customs of these different countries that we live in. You see, but now we walk in His marvelous light. So this is what it says: walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having the understanding darkened. You see, their understanding is darkened. That's why they live the way they do. Come on, let me read again. Verse 18, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of Yahweh through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their heart. You see, as we just read, if you go into that word enlighten, it's to take away blindness. You see, so we were in darkness and in blindness. We didn't know what the path of life was, because he that strays from the let me see, congregation of the dead. Before I butcher the scripture, God, this is Proverbs 21, verse 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. You see, if you wandereth out of the way of understanding, ye shall remain in the congregation of the dead. And what is understanding? Let's go to the book of Job 28, verse 28. And unto man he said, behold, the fear of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. You see, so if you depart from evil, then you will get understanding. And as we just read in the book of Proverbs, he that wandereth out of the congregation, the congregation of understanding, meaning if you don't abhor evil, then you will belong to the congregation of the dead. God, but not to go too much astray, let's go back to Ephesians 4:18. That was already broken down. Let's go to Revelations 21, verse 23. Revelations 21, verse 33. And the city, the kingdom, speaking about the kingdom of heaven, and the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it. For the glory of Yahweh did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. And the Lamb is Yahushai. You see? Because Yahweh and Yahushai, they are one. They are single-minded. They have the same mind. You see? So Yahushai walks in the way of Yahweh, that Yahweh wants, that Yahweh likes. Verse 24. And the nations of them which are safe shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. God, so the kings of the earth, they're going to bring their substance onto the Israelites. You see, they're going to bring their wealth onto the Israelites. God, but the point was that the city is not going to have no need of the sun or the moon, because Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to enlighten us. You see? So, going back to Revelation 7, verse 16. So now with the understanding that you know what the hunger and the thirst was the hunger and the thirst towards the truth. Let me read it. This is Revelation 7, verse 16. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun give on, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. You see? So they shall not hunger anymore, because they're not going to be seeking for this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, because they're already going to have it. Because they're going to have it from Yahweh Shem Yahushai. In the kingdom, we are going to have all this from Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You see? Because we are going to have a new covenant. We're not going to have a stony heart, but we're going to have a fleshly heart. A fleshy heart, because the stony heart, that represents that the law, statutes, and commandments were written on tablets. So we were comprehending it. We had to read it to understand it. But now in the second covenant, the law, statutes, and commandments are going to be in our inward parts. So we are going to be all righteous. We are going to know it by heart. We are not going to be able to go off. You see? So that's why there's going to not be no need of light from the sun or the moon. That's why we will not hunger, because the truth is going to be within us. Let's go to Jeremiah 31, verse 34. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every one, and every man his brother, saying, Know ye Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquities, and I will remember their sin no more. You see, so all of the Israelites are going to know the law, statutes, and commandments. All of the Israelites are going to be righteous, as it says in the book of Isaiah 60. Verse 21. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. You see? So that people are going to be all righteous. Everyone from the least to the greatest is going to know Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to write the law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts. So we are going to be all righteous, everlasting, immortal. You see, because righteousness is immortal, as it says in the book of Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon 1, verse 15. For righteousness is immortal. You see? That's why Yahweh Shem Yahushai created man. Actually, he created man to be immortal. This is Wisdom of Solomon 2, verse 23. For Yahweh Shem Yahushai created man to be immortal, and made him to be an image of his own eternity. You see? So that's what we're actually supposed to be. We're supposed to be immortal because we're supposed to be all righteous. But we went off. We went to go seek wickedness. We wanted to know what is good and what is evil, because Adam only knew what was good. You see? As it says, verse 24. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world, and they that do hold of his side do find it. Done. Because they envied, Adam envied the devil, which is the serpent. You see? And that came through Eve. You know, through Eve came wickedness and sin, and through her we all die. But not to go off topic, let's go back to Revelation 7. Now going to verse 17. For the Lamb, which is Yahushai, which is in the midst of the throne, shall feed them with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Give them the law, statutes, and commandments. Give them this truth, the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and shall lead them into living fountains of waters, and Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. God, so this living fountain of waters is speaking about this truth. It's speaking about this living water. This, if you have living water, then nothing is decaying. You see, because we are gonna be all righteous, and we are gonna be like, yeah. With what can I compare it to? It's not gonna be wicked and broken down society like how this society is. Our kingdom is gonna be flourishing. It's gonna be full of life, vibrant. You see. But this living fountain of waters represents the truth. Also represents the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You can read that in John 4. Let me read it real quick. John 4. Verse 14. And let me start at 13. John 4, verse 13. Yahushai answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again, meaning the water of the well. Verse 14. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. And we just went into that, the everlasting life. That's immortality. And how do you perceive that? Through righteousness. And how do you get righteousness? By keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the fullest, not breaking not one commandment. And that's how you're going to be immortal. Because by breaking the commandment, you get sin. And what are the wages of sin? Death. You see? So everything is full circle. So going back to Revelation 7, and it says, For the Lamb Yahushai, which is in the midst of the throne, shall feed them and shall lead them into living fountains of waters, and Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. Gone, because we are mourning right now, as it says in the book of Ecclesiastes 7. It's better to be in the house of mourning than the house of feasting. And we are mourning right now because through this mourning, you are being sharpened. Because if you're in the house of feasting, like in the time of Noah, how they all were marrying and giving into marriage, they were not circumspect. But because you are mourning, you are kind of sort of paranoid and on the edge. So you are constantly more focused, you know. So let's go to Revelation 21, verse 4. This is Revelations 21 and 4. And Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former thing are passed away. Meaning the former, this former world, everything is gonna be burnt up with it. You know, we are gonna be all righteous. We are not gonna have pain anymore. We're gonna only be rejoicing. There's not gonna be violence in the land anymore. You know, as it says in Isaiah 60. You know, the kingdom is gonna be a beautiful place. No more crying, no more sorrow for the Israelites. You know. The earth is going to be in balance again. Everything is going to be beautiful. There's going to be no more pain. Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to wipe away all our tears. You see? Let's go to Luke 6, verse 21. This is Luke 6, verse 21. Blessed are ye that hunger now, because now we're hungry. Now we're hungry for this wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And we are hungry for the kingdom to come. You see? So that's why we're working. We're working so hard, you know? Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled. As we just said, you're going to be filled. We're going to have everything in our inward parts. You see? The full, complete wisdom and knowledge, the tree of life. And blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. And this is the red letters, so Yahushua spoke this. You see? And he knows what's going to come. He knows that he has to come and do away with all the wickedness, so that the righteous can walk in great boldness and laugh, when their calamities come, Gone. So, through the Spirit, I wanted to go into these two verses, and Yahweh Tazah. This was edifying, and that y'all be edified, and that it built up your faith, for the kingdom that is to come, that is going to be only for the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. So Yahweh Tazah, it was edifying, and I want to say Kal Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai, Basham Raka Kodash, Shalom Akim.